You're listening to the Electronic Media Collective Podcast Network. Yeah, it's a mouthful. For more great shows like the one you're about to enjoy, visit electronicmediacollective.com. And now, our feature presentation.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Comics with My Kids, the official podcast for the comicscornerbox.blogspot.com. I'm your host, Matt D., and with me today is
Logan D.
We decided to go way back to the 1980s when I was a kid, and I used to read and watch a TV show called G.I. Joe. And what's really neat is that the publishing company IDW came out with Saturday Morning Adventures, G.I. Joe, a Real American Hero, where the art and the stories are set within the television show timeline. So, Logan, do you know anything about G.I. Joe?
Well, I know, quite a few of the characters.
Okay, so you have read G.I. Joe before?
Some of them.
Alright. Have you seen the G.I. Joe cartoon?
Like the first episode, I think?
Okay. I'm going to give you a quick breakdown of the Saturday Morning Adventures of G.I. Joe. It opens up with Cobra Commander after having his dreadnoughts go out and stealing a prize artifact, bringing it back to Cobra's headquarters, and we find out that the artifact was in fact the genie lamp from Aladdin. Cobra Commander decides to rub the lamp, and voila, a genie. What's really neat is that the artwork and the storyline is similar to what you would see in the classic G.I. Joe cartoons.
Did they have a genie in the G.I. Joe cartoon?
No, but they always had some kind of weird, obscure kind of
Magic?
Yeah, I would say there were some that had like magic in it, or weird science, or just some rather cartoonish, kid-friendly kind of stuff. So Cobra Commander decides to use the Aladdin's lamp, and he gets 3 wishes. And of course, there's the usual: you can't wish for someone to fall in love, you can't wish to bring back the dead, and I can't remember the rest of the usual rules.
Well, in Aladdin, it was you can't wish for more wishes.
Oh, yes.
You don't know how many times I've seen that movie.
Yeah. So the first thing that Cobra Commander wishes for is a giant android robot called a Bat, which is a battle android trooper.
Aren't those, usually small, around the size of a normal person?
They're normally the size of a regular person, but this one's 40 feet tall. And he sends it out to attack the Joes. And, of course, as usual, G.I. Joe flies in and tries to destroy the Bat. And then, of course, at the end of issue 1, they leave the event of the Bat attacking the G.I. Joes as the end of the issue. But they have what's called public service announcements. Each episode of G.I. Joe, the cartoon, would have a public service announcement that would be, and they would end it with, knowing is half the battle. And they tapped into that, and they put that as the last page in the comic. So each issue is set up like an episode of G.I. Joe, which is really kind of neat. So now the Joes have to basically battle Cobra Commander for this mini-series as he has in Aladdin's lamp.
So you basically... I forgot what I was going to say.
It's okay.
Never mind.
All right.
I hate it when my brain goes dead.
So, Logan, what did you think about the first issue of G.I. Joe?
I thought it was cool. I liked it.
Yeah. What did you think of the artwork?
I liked it.
Can you tell me a little more than just I liked it?
I thought it was cool how they did the flames, how it was half, partially orange and partially yellow.
Okay. So you like the coloring and stuff? I thought it was neat that they managed to capture the same kind of cell animation that the classic 80s cartoon had. And it's almost like flipping through a cartoon TV show. All right, so let's go ahead and hop on over to issue 2. So issue 2 picks up right where issue 1 left off, where the Joes are battling Cobra Commander and his Giant's Bat. And, of course, Cobra Commander sees that his bat gets destroyed by the Joes, So he decides to have his next wish. For my second wish, I want upgraded weaponry for my most loyal soldiers, upgrades that can't do any harm to me. And then me is an exclamation. Granted, it shall be as you say, exactly as you say. So with the upgrade, Cobra Commander thinks that his soldiers have the upper hand. And as they're attacking people, shipwreck gets blown up in one of the sharks. And of course, Cobra Commander sees this on his giant teleprompter, which can see anything. Which I always thought was interesting that, the bad guys had these cameras all over the world where they could see any angle possible. And of course, he watches as Shipwreck's shark, which is, I can't remember what the acronym stands for. I'll have to look it up in a little bit. But it blows up, and after it blows up, Shipwreck comes walking out of the explosion. And of course, Cobra Commander is like, how is he alive? And the genie explains, it was to the specific terms of your wish, O Master. The G.I. Joe specifically referred to himself as me. You wished that the weapons have no power over me. Thus, the weapons cannot harm him. And of course, Cobra Commander yells, shenanigans, it's unfair! And then, of course, Shipwreck decides that he can, let's see here. Shipwreck decides that he's got to continue to help out, so he jumps back into another shark and takes off. And as he's getting blasted, nothing can harm him. And he decides to take the shark and attack the bat. And basically, the G.I. Joes find a way to destroy the bat.
Didn't they destroy one before this in the previous episode?
Previous issue, yeah, I think they did.
Did G.I. Joe's, upgrade it or something?
No, I think they found the weakness in the joints of the android.
Yeah, but didn't they, upgrade the bat in the second issue?
Yes, that's part of the weapons upgrade. But the bat can't destroy anybody named me.
Yes, it can. It wasn't part of the wish.
It wasn't? I thought it was.
Because the genie wanted him to wish that, but he didn't. I can't remember where he said it, but at some point, Destro combined it.
Alright, so Destro says the force fields are running at peak efficiency, Commander. The opposition to the Megabats will find them more than they did it themselves. They upgraded the force fields around the joints of the, quote, Megabat.
Yeah, that's what I said.
Okay. So what did you think of issue 2?
I liked it as well.
Okay. Tell me what you liked about it.
I liked how the G.I. Joes were able to fight off, 3 bats at once. But they had to split up.
Yeah, that was kind of neat that they divided the team up so that they could cover other spots in the world that Cobra Commander was attacking.
And what were those 3 spots that it attacked?
Well, if I remember right, it was Washington, D.C., Paris, France, and the third one I thought was the Joe compound.
You already said 3.
I said Washington, D.C.?
Yes.
Yeah, Washington, D.C., Paris, France. Oh, and Tokyo, Japan. I'm sorry.
Oh, Paris, France. I thought that was 2 different places.
No.
I thought they attacked Paris and France.
No, Paris is in France. All right. So then the issue ends. Let's see. And of course, you find out that this was all a ploy so that Cobra Commander could rob Fort Knox, which is where the U.S. stores all of its gold. And then we end with that as Cobra Commander is laughing. And then, of course, we have our public service announcement, which I thought was funny because it stars Snake Eyes. And Logan, what do you know best about Snake Eyes?
That he can't talk?
Yep. So if you're giving a public service announcement and have the one Joe who can't talk, what do you think he's going to say in it?
Nothing.
Exactly. So the little boy pretty much figures stuff out himself by just looking at Snake Eyes, which I thought was rather clever. So thus ends issue number 2. And that leads us into issue number 3.
You know, before this, we probably should have put in a spoiler.
Well,
nobody went through 2 of them, leaving out nothing.
Well, I'll put something at the beginning of the episode. Alright, so issue 3, the Joes pretty much learn where Cobra Commander's base is at. Because I want to say Duke was captured at the end of issue 2.
Yeah, you saw that in issue 2. I can pull this up for you.
Okay. Sorry, I'm just kind of giving a cursory run through these.
Right there.
Oh, okay. The bat captures him. He takes him to Cobra Island, where we learn where Cobra Island is at. And so the Joes decide to mount a force to rescue Duke. Meanwhile, at the Cobra compound, Duke is thrown into a pit, and he has to fight against this gladiator beast and a bunch of other gladiators.
Does he actually fight the gladiators, or do the gladiators help him fight the beast?
I think they kind of help him fight. They help him fight the beast because it's such a big creature. And then, while he's fighting, he manages to do some interesting maneuvers and knock the beast out. And then the genie is called forth by Cobra Commander, and Cobra Commander wishes his third wish. You have the power to do what I ask, to end the conflict between Cobra and G.I. Joe so that I may go on to my rightful place as ruler of the world, and I demand you grant my wish. Genie, my final wish, I demand that all members of G.I. Joe become true, loyal members of Cobra. And of course, the genie can't do that wish because of the rules. Meanwhile, the Joes have attacked Cobra Island to try to save Duke, and this crazy power launches out of Cobra Base to try and, let's see, what is it? The genie says, I warned you, you could have wished for any number of things, yet your ambition clouded your mind, and I'm going to give you your wish for a chance to end the conflict with G.I. Joe right here, right now. The genie takes the lamp and then disappears, and it's this giant battle royale between all the Joes and all the Cobras on Cobra Island. And basically it's just like a kid assembling all of his G.I. Joe action figures on his bed and just having them all fight together. That's at least the premise for the next issue.
Oh, hey, look, the wolf's there.
Yep. So.
I like how they have it like 2 pages together.
Yeah, it's called a splash page.
Except why'd they make the genie's face darker on one side than the other?
That's probably just the way the coloring and the lighting goes.
Maybe to represent the good side and the bad side?
Could be. So yeah, that's basically issue 3. And then issue 4, I think we should hold off on mentioning anything about because we don't want to spoil the story for everybody. The question is, how will G.I. Joe get out of this one? And what will happen to the Aladdin's lamp? You have to read issue 4 to find out.
And you should probably read issue 1, 2, and 3 to get an expanded format.
Huh?
And pictures.
Okay. So Logan, what do you think of Saturday Morning Adventures of G.I. Joe?
I think they're rather interesting. And I like how they combined the G.I. Joe with Aladdin.
Yeah. That was an interesting idea. Would you like to see more, like Saturday Morning Adventures?
Yeah.
From IDW? Yeah, I think it would be cool. It definitely taps into that cartoon style that a lot of kids like.
Tap tap.
Yeah. So, Logan, is there anything else you want to add to the this previous episode of Comics with My Kids?
Nope.
Okay, would you buy it, borrow it, or forget about it for the 42 miniseries?
I would buy it. I like it.
Yeah. So it's a buy for you. I would definitely say it is a buy because, like I said, as a kid growing up in the 80s where I used to watch these cartoons, it's definitely taps into that nostalgia. And it's kind of fun to read with you, Logan, so you can kind of see what it was like, G.I. Joe cartoony style of books. But alright, folks, well, that's all we have for today on G.I. Joe. And we look forward to hearing from you, so feel free to give us an email at comicswithmykids@gmail.com. Check out our Facebook page, Comics with My Kids /Comics Corner Box. And check us out on our webpage, comicscornerbox.blogspot.com. I'm Matt D.
I'm Logan D.
Have yourselves a nice day, night, or afternoon. Say goodbye, Logan.
Bye.